You ever met somebody who just fiends for attention? Like the type of individual who everything they do, everything they say, everything they demonstrate, everything they put out, maybe they're on social media, they're posting, right? Everything they talk about in conversation, everywhere they go, it is all about getting attention. You think to yourself, what is it with this individual and attention? Okay, maybe you don't know this person, maybe this person is you. Probably not though, right? It's the person next to you, it's your cousin. It's your cousin, it's your mama, it's your ex. Okay, I get it. That individual who was continuously, perpetually looking for some sort, some sense, some source of attention, that person is a perfect representation of what happens when we are raised on a steady dose or a steady diet of conditional love. Now, I use that word love loosely, right? Because I haven't come up with a better word so far, but I'll just use what most of us can relate to. Conditional love. So, conditional love is essentially love that is received on the basis of certain behavior or characteristics or with certain conditions. Simple as that. It really is just in the wording itself, right? So maybe it's if you do X, I will show you love or I will give you love. Now, of course, this is not actual love. Love cannot be conditional. Love is free. Love in its own nature is freely given. It is breathing. It's in and out, right? And there is no one that outweighs the other. So even this whole thing is better to give than to receive. That's all bull mess. It's better? No. It's the same to give as receive. Both of them are part of the very same cycle. So that is love. Love is forever giving. Love is forever receiving. Giving, receiving. It is a cyclical aspect. And so when you conditionally love, or when somebody conditionally loves you, they're not actually loving. What they're doing is witchcraft. Now, yeah, that's what they're doing. It's manipulation of behaviors in order to get certain behaviors out of you, right? So they say, if you throw a tantrum, I'm going to turn my attention away from you. If you stop throwing tantrum, I'm going to show my affection. Mwah. Right? What is that? That's nothing more than trying to change somebody's behaviors based upon certain conditions. I will display certain attributes. When you display certain attributes, it's almost like it's an unwritten contract going on when there's conditional love taking place. And so many of us were raised on a steady dose of that, and we took that forward into our lives. And for some of us, for a lot of us, attention was the currency used. So you are going to get my attention when you start to act different, was the messaging that we got at the earliest stages of life, right? As soon as you start to be somebody different, as soon as you start to show up differently in the world or in our world, whether it's your family nucleus or whatever it may be, when you show up different, little baby, then I'm going to give you attention. So if you keep yelling, you keep crying, you keep doing whatever you're doing, I'm not going to show you attention. And so we connect attention with love, right? At the earliest stages of life, we believe that attention, if somebody is just looking at us, they are giving us their undivided, they're giving us their presence, then that is love. Now, it is a fraction of love. I believe that love inherently is present and inherently is intentional and inherently it is focused. But nevertheless, it does not mean that what they're giving you is love. They're just showing attention. They are, again, using their action as a means to get a thing out of you, as a means to control. And this isn't a malicious thing that is being done, at least not in all cases. Sometimes the person is trying to control because they're so deeply insecure that that's the only way they feel that they can get something out of life, right? And it doesn't work, by the way. It's against universal law. You can only change things by changing your own energy. But that's a story for a whole different time. Subject matter I've touched on, and I will continue to as time moves forward. Now, this thing of attention and the individual that you've observed, who's not you at all, right? It's not you at all. Can't be you. The individual that you observed who is the one that is perpetually seeking the attention of those around them. The reason they do so is because they connect attention to love. They believe that love is attention and attention is love. So the more attention I get, the more love I'm getting. Now, of course, we know rationally, quote unquote, reasonably, that is not always the case. As a matter of fact, more times than not, it is not, right? You could go into social media right now And you could post something that is going to get you a lot of attention, yet there is no love behind it. You can post your behind and it might get a lot of attention, but that does not mean you are loved. Yet when you make a connotation, or when you have been programmed subconsciously to believe that attention is love, you will always make the connection of I am loved now. That's why we have some, people in celebrity culture who believe that, wow, because people are paying attention to me, they love me. And then they start to get distraught once that attention goes away because they feel like I'm not getting love anymore, right? They say people are showing love because they're showing attention, not understanding that, people may be coming for a multitude of reasons. And there may be some who genuinely love you and have love within themselves to give, because it always starts from within. You can't love anybody else unless you have that love developed within, right? Let's get that off the plate 100% without a shadow of dizzy doubt. But you find that when you have this belief that attention equals love, you will continue to pursue attention. Whatever form of attention that, like some individuals are so deeply entrenched in this mentality that they will even take negative attention. I know it sounds crazy with thinking to yourself, how on earth would negative attention be love? Trust me. I saw a video where a girl was talking about you only know a man really loves you if he puts hands on you. This was a young girl, by the way. She was probably like 17, maybe 18 years old. I'm now aged out. I say young because that is young to me. I'm 27, almost 28 now. By the time you're watching this, I might be goddamn 40, right? Who knows? But nevertheless, this young woman is talking about if a man really loves you, he's going to put hands on you. That's how you know he's passionate, etc. So think about that. She's connecting getting hands laid on her. Because maybe when she was a child, it's like, I'm not going to look at you, not going to pay attention. And the only time I pay attention to you is when I'm putting hands on you. So it's like, oh, attention. Now, attention is coming in, in this abusive manner, but it's still attention nonetheless. And so again, we could literally make these connections when we are going through life unconsciously, when we're not consciously aware, when we're not moving through life with a third eye perspective or a bird's eye perspective, right? For those who get scared off by the damn third eye, I don't give a damn if you're from a third eye perspective. If you're not looking at your life from above and you're not able to be the observer, right? You're not able to be mindful within your life. You will very easily take those belief systems that you held as a infant into the later stages of life. It'll be not most people that most, I can't say most because people are waking up, right? I'm looking to change that wording right there. There are those who move through life with the very same conditioning that they had as a child. The very same belief systems that were ingrained as a child, they're still holding now as an adult. The same beliefs that they have about money, the same beliefs that they have about relationship, the same beliefs that they have about health or their body, they got in the earliest stages of their childhood, and they're still moving off of that very same program. It is unfortunate, absolutely. But is it out of their control? Absolutely not. Is it out of our control? Absolutely not. And it's only when we bind ourselves as victims, which is why I wrote an entire book, Escaping Victimhood. It's only when we bring ourselves into a victim consciousness or victimhood mindset that we find ourselves in a place where we feel helpless, we feel powerless towards the things that are happening within our lives, not realizing that we are the creators and the perpetuators, that our energy, wherever it is fixed, where our thought process is set, where our mind is set, right? Therefore, a mindset is literally creating, it's dictating the things we bring into our lives, the things that we experience, whether it is conditions, overall condition of your life, the experiences, situations, and interactions that you call your physical reality, that you call your own life. We are creating that. Uh-oh. And so when you have this belief that love is attention, and you have not gotten to a place where you have allowed yourself to accept that love is something that it just is. It's not something you earn, not something you deserve. Because that's another thing about attention, right? Is oftentimes we see attention as something that we got to grasp. So the person who's doing the most is going to get the most attention, right? You're on YouTube, just like right here. Maybe I'm on some other platform at this point in time as well. I believe YouTube will be around for a minute, but who knows how that's going to age? That's up to y'all. You'll be the one watching, so you'll know. But there are individuals on this very platform here whose entire purpose is to get as much attention as possible, and that's it. Now, I'll be honest with you. I desire for the message to hit everybody. I desire for the message to be for everybody, right? But I don't fix myself on attention means valuable. And I used to. I used to have a belief that I was raised an actor, right? From the age of 2 to the age around 12, I was acting. My entire life, all I knew was acting, acting, acting. I did other things, of course, but acting was it. I was competitively acting from a very, very young age. And so I connotated attention, with admiration, with affection, with acceptance. And being judged for my performance was everything. So I became this perpetual people pleaser. I became a chameleon, you see. And the reason I was so good at acting was not because of all the practice that I was doing, though I always engrossed in the art or in the craft, but instead because I was practicing every single day of my life outside of that arena. Every day of my life was practicing how to act, how to be somebody else, how to suppress the true reality of who I was. So I was a master at my craft, right? Like at this point in time, I'm just crazy at some points. Well, I'm just, off the wall sometimes. But that's just me. You understand? I don't need to act anymore because I no longer care for the perception of other people. How you perceive me is how you perceive me. I show up sometimes I'm in a tank top. I show up sometimes I'm in the same hoodie that, I wear when I get to the house every other day. I might have been fly when I was outside and I put on my hoodie and then I sit here and record these videos. I put on a white tee because, just got the white tees that came in today. Boom, do-rag because, I'm about to go to sleep in a little bit, right? So I'm going to show up authentically because I understand that though people may give attention, show attention, that's not what quantifies or qualitates. I don't even know if that's a word. I think I'm just using words just to try to sound fancy at this point, right? But love is not attention, or love is not always demonstrated through attention. Sometimes it can be. At some points in our lives, we can find ourselves in beautiful relationship experiences where the person truly loves and we truly love, and so we give attention. But you can give attention to something that you hate. As a matter of fact, hatred is a pure substance it's a pure form of attention. That's all hate is. Like if you really look at it, judgment is a pure attention on a very specific thing within the other or within yourself. So those are obviously not love, and yet we still believe that attention can be love. Come on, man. Come on, man. So that's the message for today. Well, it's not just that, but it is also, again, it's to get us to a place where we start to think for ourselves and start to connect to a real place of love. And this is something that I have spoken on, but it's something that I do want to touch on, in depth. And there's a book that will be coming out at some point, which is about this specific subject matter, connecting to that true heart space, right? Because that's the space that I've started to live from, the intelligence of the heart, which sounds wild to some of us in 2024. Imagine that. We think that intelligence is of the brain, not understanding that the truest intelligence of life, the most powerful, the infinite intelligence source is connected to the heart space. But yet the heart gets all this bad rap, right? And when we connect to that space, we realize that true love is not attached. True love is not this, grabbing or grasping onto that we've kind of made it to be. It's not all these other things that we've placed upon it. True love is the very substance that holds all of life together. It's not an airy fairy idea, and it's not also googly eyes. You understand me? That could be lust. It could be infatuation. You see a round thing on the backside and you think to yourself, oh, I'm in love. That ain't love, Playboy. That ain't love. I promise you that. You might see them abs. You might see something else and you think, wow, I'm in love. That ain't love, sis. That ain't love. Love is the very substance that holds all of life together. Love is the highest intention. Love is the highest frequency that an individual can reach. The highest frequency. It is the place of upward focus. and it continues to expand. It is the absolute giving force that only knows how to give continuously because it is full, it is whole in and of itself. And when you tap into the love within yourself, you're living from a place of wholeness. And so you never care whether or not you're getting the attention of anybody else. You don't care whether or not you get the validation, the acceptance, the approval. Do they see me? Do they not? Do they hear me? Do they not? Do they understand me? Do they not? You don't give a damn. You stop caring about external factors and instead you live life from an internally focused space. You are in this world, but not of it. Do you hear me? So we got to get ourselves back to a place where we are no longer tethering and tying ourselves into this thing that we think is love, looking for attention, looking for people to admire us when it means nada, nothing. Ask the people who have gotten all the attention there is to get. Ask Michael Jackson. Well, you can't ask him right now, but you can probably ask him one day when y'all catch up in some lifetime or whatever it is, or y'all get back to source or whatever, right? Ask Michael Jackson. Ask Charlie Chaplin, who was once the most famous man on the planet. I know it was news to me when I watched the documentary. He was the most famous man on the planet at the time. Ask these individuals if attention, all the attention of every single person on the planet, solved their deepest problems, if it resolved those unresolved aspects of themselves. Ask them if they did. Then ask anyone else who was on this journey of inner love, of inward looking, of self-love, what type of life experience they had. They won't remember who gave them or didn't give them attention because they gave themselves unconditional, full on, wholehearted attention. And the irony is when you actually deep into a level of true love, all eyes are on you. Because again, it's enough. It's, source is in you, through you, as you. And so the ones who actually matter, like that soulmate relationship you want is on the other side of self-love. Trust me, I'm a living, breathing proof of this. You will see my life unfold and you say, oh my goodness, how does a relationship like that even exist? Self-love on both sides. We're both reflections of the love that we extended to ourselves, that we allowed into our own lives. And so this is the very same. We have to get to a place where we're no longer, I know this is a tall, tall order, right? But we have to get to a place where we finally allow ourselves to accept the truth that attention is not love. But love will bring all the attention that you would ever desire. And the irony is you will no longer have the need, the want, nor the desire for attention because you already know that you in and of yourself are enough. It's the funniest thing. When you no longer need the thing, it comes to you in a hurry. Ain't that something? Haha, ain't that something? So that's everything for tonight. Get yourself a copy of Escaping Victimhood or my first published book, Doing Me Guilt-Free. If you're watching this right now, like Escaping Victimhood is literally in the editing process. So by the time you watch this, it's done. Okay. This content has already been created in the future. I'm living in a damn time machine. So you're watching this, Escaping Victimhood is out. Get yourself a copy. Get your cousin a copy, your sister, your mom, whoever. Because again, it's not you who needs it, right? It's never you. It's like they used to say back, when I was in the Christian thing, back in the church, they used to say, oh, tell your neighbor, whatever, because they need it. It's not you, right? You're there. You don't need that, but your neighbor needs it. But just in case, get yourself a copy so you can articulate it well enough to your neighbor. Do that for yourself. All right. Appreciate y'all. Till the next time. Namaste. Namaskar.